In this particular episode of Positive Leadership, we're going to talk about something that's absolutely critical to being able to lead, and it's called delegation. You can't lead if you can't delegate. One of the primary killers of many managers' promising careers is the inability of the leader to delegate effectively. If leaders can't learn how to delegate tasks properly to their teams, they will find that their management careers will unexpectedly stall or flame out altogether. Delegation requires operating from a position of trust. As a leader, it's not your job to accomplish the task yourself. You left that role as soon as you stepped into your first management position. Your role has shifted from performing the tasks yourself to making sure that others accomplish these tasks that were once yours. Even though you are the one that is now assigning the task, you're still accountable for ensuring that other people accomplish them. For most first-time managers, that's a scary place to be. Unfortunately, many managers are ill-prepared to accept this challenge, the challenge of transitioning from being a team member to becoming a leader. Additionally, only the best companies provide their new managers with adequate leadership training. More often than not, these newly assigned managers are left to themselves to figure out the concept of delegation. So, without any proper training in the art of delegation, most first-time managers will default to the most natural form of management. They become dictators or micromanagers. This form of control is very stressful for both the manager and the team. Unfortunately, it's also the most straightforward form of management to implement. The manager assigns a task, then excessively follows up because it's the only way to ensure total control. At the very first sign of any trouble in task completion, the manager will resort to bullying, threatening, yelling, or some other dysfunctional behavior in a misguided attempt to ensure the task gets completed. What often results is the opposite of what was intended. Instead of guaranteeing the task is completed, managers will cause all kinds of delays through their need to have control of everything. Employees will quickly tire this constant micromanagement. At best, the team will become disengaged from work, productivity will suffer. At worst, and it happens a lot, far too often in corporate America, the team will begin to find 1,000 ways to either sabotage the manager or will all beginning to plan their exit strategy. In some of my informal counseling of new managers over the years, I've often heard the same rebuttal. If these, and the word here isn't so good, but if these blankety blank employees sabotage this project, I'll fire every last one of them. And my response is always the same. And replace them with who? More employees that you can fire? Sorry, it doesn't work that way. Most HR departments will flag high employee turnover very quickly. That's scrutiny you don't need. At the end of the day, you as the manager are probably the most replaceable person in the entire team. A manager can't effectively delegate unless it comes from a place of trust. Sure, there must be accountability for poor performance, but it's been my experience that given the proper level of guidance and feedback at the right times, most team members will do a pretty exceptional job. And giving that guidance and giving that feedback, that's the job of a leader. Effective delegation starts with a leader completing two critical missions. First, they have to be sure that they've given the team clear and unambiguous guidance on the goal of any task, be it simple or complex. Second, they must ensure the team has both the capability and ability to perform the job. I've seen a lot of projects fail because team members were not prepared for the task, and leaders assume that they have the right tools and training for the task at hand. Don't assume that your team has the proper training. Make sure of it. Once the leader has given clear guidance and ensures the team has the right tools and training, the next step is to set periodic feedback points to assess the progress of the task for completion. It's essential that everyone on the team, both the team members and the leaders, fully agree on these periodic checkpoints before the project gets started. Additionally, once everyone agrees on these checkpoints, it's critical for the leader not to violate these times, even if they're being pressured by senior management. Nothing will cause project delays quicker than a micromanager who's checking on completion status of the project every 2 or 3 hours. Many years ago, I found myself working for a micromanager who would call every 15 minutes asking for a status update on the completion of an important project. Every 15 minutes. Every time I had to provide an update, I had to stop what I was doing, make sure the environment was safe, walk 50 feet over to the phone to give my boss a status update. After about 2 hours of this nonsense, I finally blurted out in frustration, "Look, if you didn't call every 15 minutes, I would have completed the job already." I was so frustrated in that position that I became very demotivated and disengaged. Fortunately, I got promoted out of that job, much to the surprise of my micromanager, and wasn't in the situation long enough for my attitude to affect my career. Leaders need to give clear guidance to their teams. Everyone needs to be in the clear on project expectations, which is why so many good leaders use project charters at the very beginning of their projects. Leaders must ensure team members have the right tools and the training for the task or project at hand. Leaders must work with the team to ensure agreed-upon progress checkpoints. Once these checkpoints have been set, leaders should rarely have any kind of out-of-cycle feedback, except for emergency feedbacks that must be necessary from time to time. Finally, feedback sessions should always focus on progress toward the goal. These feedback sessions should be used primarily to track progress, encourage the team, and provide opportunities to eliminate obstacles or bottlenecks that get in the way so that the project can get back on track. They should never be used to bully or embarrass anyone on the team for any problem whatsoever. A good leader will also use these periodic checkpoints as sensing sessions to try and overcome any performance problems. I've taken the time here to talk about delegation because it's not easy to learn how to delegate effectively. I've spent many years as a leader and manager, and many years before I learned how to effectively delegate. But I've also learned that if you don't learn how to delegate, your career progression will eventually stop. I've witnessed many micromanagers crash and burn because when they became responsible for more than about 50 people, which is about the point at which a manager can no longer control everything, because they couldn't delegate, it became very, very obvious of their limitations as a manager. Effective delegation starts with trust and accountability. A leader has to believe that his team has the capability and ability to get the task accomplished. The leader and the team need to agree upon the goals and tasks at hand when they are expected to complete the job, along with periodic feedback checkpoints. Once this is accomplished, the leader needs to step back and become the chief cheerleader and troubleshooter for the team and give the team the trust and freedom to complete their mission. The results of effective delegation can be amazing. You can always be a manager. Control is an easy thing to do. But at the end of the day, if you can't learn how to trust your teams, you will never learn how to delegate effectively, and you'll severely limit your ability to move up the leadership chain.